Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. Today, we're back with romance author and marketing expert, Johnnie London. Hey, Johnnie, welcome back.
Hey, I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you for having me today.
Thrilled to have you back. And today, I want to discuss marketing a romance novel with you.
Okay.
So, Johnnie, tell us, what are the key elements of an effective marketing strategy for a romance novel?
I think the first thing is, as an author, you've got to have your own personal brand as an author out there. You have to establish, especially if you're new and you're new to the category. What I've learned in my experience is a lot of readers want to know who the person is that wrote the book and what it is about them that they're going to bring to the story that makes me want to pick it up and read it. So I think
Mm,
that's the first thing. And you can accomplish that through your social media. You can accomplish that through a lot of other ways to present who you are as an author. The second thing that's really important is in your social media, maybe even building a website for your book where somebody could go to get more information. Make some of the information, make some of the story accessible and downloadable. So, for instance, for us at heavensrewrite.com, you can download a free chapter and get a feel for the story. You know, a little sampling exercise before somebody commits to the book, which I think is important. And you can talk about the story. You could talk about the world that a reader can immerse themselves in, and give somebody a flavor for it because there's tons of options to read. And so, giving them as much as you possibly can to intrigue and pique their interest just enough to come into the story, I think is probably the most important thing you can do.
yeah, that's great advice. And on the note of social media, how do you leverage your social media platforms to reach and engage with your target audience?
Yeah, great question. And it's a two-part answer for that. The first part is dial into your personal social media platforms. I'd recommend Facebook and Instagram are probably the best. Instagram mostly, but Pinterest, believe it or not, um, TikTok, YouTube, dial into that as much as you can and use your personal social network to promote what you're doing and ask all of your friends to post on their networks what you're doing. Okay. Just to get that. If you get half a dozen of your friends who have 500, 1,000, 10,000 followers, all of a sudden you could have your message out in front of 10,000 people endorsed by people they trust. The second
Right.
thing is within social media, though, is you got to go into Meta and you got to do the business side of things too, the business accounts. What that allows you to do, it allows you to create your targeting for your particular audience, and then it allows you to segment very specifically who you want to talk to, and then you can boost those posts within that. So you can press those ads out there and get it in front of people that you may not have gotten in front of before. And I think that's really important. Then you can track your progress. As a marketing guy, I think what's also important is testing the clicks and seeing why people come in. So you're testing
Mm.
headlines, body copy, images, and the combination of those two, along with the tagline. So my book is about romance, time travel, testing phrases like "Can love conquer time?" or "Can time conquer love?" You know, does that work? Does that resonate with somebody? What image did we use? We're testing shadowy images. We're testing very distinct images. And you have to, and I look and see how people respond. Do they want to know what the characters look like, or they just want to see the shadows of the characters so they
Mm.
can read into that? I think the reason a lot of people read is because they don't want a director or somebody telling them exactly what somebody looks like. They want to decide what that car looks like, what that guy looks like, is the girl that he's with, what she looks like. And so understanding how they're approaching your work and your story, and then seeing which ones get the most responses, then you're onto something. Then you can promote those and push those further. And the ones that didn't work, you can push away.
Exactly. And speaking of those responses, what role do book reviews and endorsements play in the success of a romance novel?
Yeah, that's a great question. I spent a lot of time looking into this. And with a publishing house, I do believe there's a level of skepticism where big names are endorsing other people's books. I think
Mm,
people look at that and they go, well, was that a paid endorsement? Do they really mean it? For part of it, I think my favorite reviews, and we've got a bunch of these on our Amazon page, is your average reader who just says, wow, I'd like to hang out with her. Wow.
mm,
I felt like I was peeking into their bedroom and I felt like I was spying on them as their life unfolded. Those to me, I think are the most valuable because that's a reader talking to another reader saying, here's what you can expect, as opposed to I'm XYZ, Dr. So-and-so, and I read this book and I think the lessons and what he said in his book are something we could all benefit from. I don't know how believable that is versus somebody who read it and genuinely emotively says, I felt like I was spying on them. I felt like their fights were a little too real. This was a little too, wow, this was crazy. It was messy, but I loved it. That to me is what I think somebody looking for a book and looking for a little bit of an edge in a review that might make me make the decision to go there instead of there.
Right. And can you share any successful promotional campaigns or tactics that significantly boosted your book sales?
Yeah, I think the first thing is the pre-sale. And I think that's important. 60 to 90 days promoting the book, promoting special offers and incentives if you buy it. There's two reasons that's important. One is for us, we achieved a certain level of pre-sales. So we got the attention of Borders and Barnes and Noble, both for their online as well as their retail stores. But more importantly, it's piquing interest and it's seeing what types of offers work. For us, the characters in our book, they listen to a lot of music, they eat out at a lot of fancy restaurants. And so we created a Spotify playlist, and it's actually in the first couple pages of the book where it says, here's a list of all the music they listen to. Listen to it while you're reading to enhance, your reading pleasure, which is kind of fun. And they eat out at a lot of fancy restaurants. And so we actually partnered with a up and coming celebrity chef who actually recreated the recipes that they're eating in the book that you can get for free by getting it. And we found that a lot of people, I mean, I'm nobody. I'm just writing what I think is a great story. But along with a great story, you can get some recipes that were at Nobu where they ate, or get some recipes for desserts at other Maple and Ash or some other places. Why not? And we found that people, they dived into it. They dove into it. They were like, okay, I'll 26 bites from Heaven's Rewrite, these 5 desserts, which have a metaphor in the book. I'll give it a shot. And it was enough of an incentive to order the book, and you got the recipes.
And in terms of online marketing efforts versus offline marketing efforts, how do you balance those two and maximize your book's visibility?
Well, I think especially if you're just starting out, social media is definitely the way to go. And it allows you to do flat lays or do a lot of different ways to present your story in the context of the world somebody can immerse themselves in. And so, we talk about recipes, we talk about music, we talk about food. A lot of the characters in the book, they like to go out and eat, they like to drink. And so you'll see Jack Daniels, Johnnie Walker being featured, Jimmy Walker being featured in the book. That's crazy, right? But you can talk about that, and you can give somebody a sense of what they can expect when they get in there. And so social media allows you visually to present. Instagram's an incredibly visual place to be. And somebody can get a sense of what they can expect when they're sitting on the beach reading the book, or at a pool, or on an airplane. Offline, going and doing readings at libraries, bookshops, other events like that, I think people can get a feel for, especially if you're the author doing the reading, exactly the parts to really highlight, hammer hard, the ones to pull back on, how to tell the story, express it. And I have found, I did a couple of posts not long ago where it was sort of ask me anything. And people who had already read the book, tell me about this, tell me about that. Even a few friends were like, I think I know who that is. Is that who I think it is? Nope, nope, nope. And it's just, but then other people read that conversation, read that dialogue going back and forth. Like, ooh, this sounds really cool. I like this. Ours takes place in the world of advertising and marketing, which, no surprise, being I'm an advertising guy, has a lot of intrigue, and there's a lot of baggage that goes, good and bad, that goes along with that people expect, having seen enough movies or enough books about the world of advertising, that just adds to the textures and the layers of a romantic encounter between two people who fall in love and try to figure out how to make it all work.
Well, Johnnie, thank you. That was wonderful insight on marketing for a romance novel.
I appreciate it. It's fun talking about it. So thank you for having me today.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to today's interview with romance author and marketing expert, Johnnie London. Be sure to check out our website for more videos. Wishing you all a fulfilling and successful writing journey.